one thing we've planted, for those listening, we've planted Easter eggs throughout our concert. There's props.
Not actual Easter eggs, because I would have thought they were actually Easter eggs.
Yes, not literal eggs. They're little delights, surprise and delights. So in the comments below or wherever, let us know how many of our little placements you find throughout all of the songs.
That's awesome. Thank you all so much.
Oh, hi. Mark Pearson, Executive and Artistic Director of the College Light Opera Company. Welcome to CLOC-Tails, our weekly concert series featuring CLOC alumni. CLOC-Tails is made possible by a generous grant from the Kurt Weill Foundation of Music. This week, I got to catch up with 4 CLOC alums, all of whom have been quarantining together, which is great because they were able to make music together. Matt Stevens, Kyle Torrence, Gillian Hassert, and Maria Falia. But before we hear from them, this wouldn't be CLOC-Tails without a cocktail. This week, we're featuring that brunch classic, the Bellini. And here's how it's made. The Bellini. Originally from Venice, this drink was created by Giuseppe Cipriani and named after a color he saw in a painting by Giovanni Bellini. You will need a chilled champagne flute, Prosecco, also well chilled, peach puree or nectar, and a slice of fresh peach to garnish. Add 2 ounces of peach puree to a chilled champagne flute. Add about 4 ounces of chilled Prosecco. Garnish with a slice of fresh peach, and there you have your Bellini.
So I am incredibly happy and thrilled to have 4 of my favorite CLOC folks right here in front of me, and all in the same room. Maria, Gillian, Matt, and Kyle. Welcome all.
Welcome to our pajama party.
I know you guys look adorable. So it's lucky that you're all kind of quarantining together and we can do this as a group. Can we just go around and remind folks who you are and maybe when you were at CLOC? Maybe let's go around. We'll start with Maria.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Falia, and I was at CLOC in 2011.
I'm Gillian Hassert. I was at CLOC in 2011 and 2012.
Hey, I'm Matthew Stevens, and I was an associate conductor in 2012.
My name is Kyle Torrence, and I was at CLOC in 2009.
Great. So a couple of different years. So how do you all know each other? How did it happen that you're all so cozy sitting in a living room together?
It's kind of amazing that CLOC has fostered these friendships, and we really are all friends in real life now, you know, almost 10 years after some of us have been there, more than 10 years for some of us. So Gillian and I met at CLOC in 2011. We were roommates and pretty inseparable. We were definitely each other's rocks through that experience. I had previously known Kyle, and Kyle was actually the one who suggested that I audition for CLOC because he had already gone. I met Matthew through Gillian.
And
what
Matthew,
other connections are there?
Well, Matthew and I were there in 2012 together. Right. And so I connected Matthew with at least, we were trying to figure this out. We don't actually remember where meeting happened.
I think I met Gillian. So when we came back and we were doing our survival jobs in the city, Maria was working at a restaurant called Oto, and Gillian and Maria got jobs for both of us there.
Right.
And then I met Matthew through them.
Yeah.
But also, I had initially met Kyle playing a voice lesson for him when he was learning Mary Sunshine in 2012.
Yes.
And then after I played his voice lesson,
you ended up working at that school too.
Yeah, and we had the CLOC connection.
Yes.
And a lot of history.
A lot of cross connections, and we've all worked together in different capacities, and all obviously have maintained friendships as well. And we were talking about this earlier today, that when you meet someone in the industry and you find out, it always comes out that like they've been at CLOC too, even if you have separate years, you're bonded to that person immediately.
Yes.
Totally.
So Maria, you knew Kyle before CLOC, is that right?
Yeah, Kyle and I met when we were
16.
We went to opera camp in Italy together when we were in high school.
Yes.
Nerds.
Yes.
Nerd alert.
We still are.
Still are. So
And right after I did it, I wrote to her and I was like, you have to do this. It's the best.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we have, too many years of friendship now at this point. He looked at me yesterday and said, we've actually known each other for half of our lives.
Which is crazy
Which
to
is
think.
pretty crazy, yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, old friend, are you okay? Old friend, what do you say? Old friend, are we or are we unique? Time goes by, everything else keeps changing. You and I, we get continued next week. Most friends fade or they don't make the grade. New ones are quickly made, and in a pinch, sure they'll do. But us, old friend wants to discuss. Old friend, here's to us. Who's like us? Damn few.
So, old friend, fill me in slow. Old friend, start with hello. Old friend, I want the when, where, and how. Old friends do tend to become old habit. Never knew how much I missed you till now.
Hey, old friends, how do we stay? Old friends, who is to say? Old friends, how an old friendship survives. Monday chums haven't laugh a minute. Monday comes and they're a part of your lives. New friends pour through the revolving door. Maybe there's one that's more. If you find one, that'll do. But us old friends, what's to discuss? Old friends, here's to us. Who's like us? Damn few. Good.
I think that was
All
good.
right, cut, print, move on.
So, talking about your time at CLOC or going down memory lane, do you all have favorite memories of your time at CLOC? Kyle, do you want to start? Is there anything you remember?
Yeah, what was I just saying that I used to drink there?
Smirnoff
I used to drink
Ice.
so much Smirnoff Ice there, which is crazy. I loved everything about it. I had so much fun there. And everyone, I feel like my summer there, everyone was just so relaxed and kind. And I've stayed in contact with like so many of them and been at weddings and babies. And at Lauren Rose's wedding, I came and brought our wedding picture from me and my girl when we were in it. And I literally was like, oh my God, we got married first. And it was amazing. So yeah, lots of memories. And I love all the people and see them all the time. So it's great.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite role that you played while you were at CLOC?
I do think Gerald and Me and My Girl, but I loved Etches. Actually, in Titanic was the most patter role I've ever done. Like that prepared me more for GNS than anything. There were so many patter songs in that. And actually Jonathan was in that too, wasn't he? Where he had to sing all those patters. Yeah, there were three of us that had to do a lot of patter in that. So that was great. That taught me a lot. Loved it.
Great. Matt, do you have favorite memories of your time at CLOC?
No pressure.
I think, I mean, obviously the days are long and grueling, especially with the music staff. You know, we just have a massive stack of scores you're working your way through for the summer season. But I mean, so many like late night walks on the Chappaqua Beach, you know, was always just a really peaceful like place to be after like all the madness that happens in the main house. And so I always really remember those times on the beach as a way to decompress and kind of, you know, blow off steam a little bit. I guess one of my favorite like musical memories was the day that we did the Zitz probe for Drowsy Chaperone, because it was kind of sad. It was the last show of the season. I had gotten close with this one, and she was, you know, of course, the infamous chaperone. And so to like hear that score and like in the season with that show was a particularly kind of emotional time to experience that together.
Great, great. Gillian, favorite memories?
I actually was just thinking about how much as much as we hated strike, when it was your strike week, it was also like really fun to kind of like tear down your work and like kill your baby and move on to the next thing, but also be there and like playing really loud music and like kind of vying for the screw job where you have to walk around with a magnet and pick up all the screws off the floor, because like it was annoying, but it was like a very clear task. It wasn't like we need to kind of move these over here, but we might repaint them and we're not, and you're like, no, just let me carry around the magnet, that'd be great, and I'll just sing show tunes and sing 80s rock. And I just remember how much fun it was to just like be in that together.
I think you're the first person that has brought up strike as a favorite memory.
It came to me today. I was like, oh man, I remember, just like sweating and like kind of just, but like the camaraderie of it, that it's not, and then going home and people were already kind of partying a little bit, and you'd be like, well, we just, had a great time ourselves. So, we had it's fine. But then, and then you'd catch up, and then you'd sleep right until rehearsal the next day if you could. So.
Right.
I slept in once and it was the worst experience ever.
Of course you did.
It was so horrible. And was it John? Yeah, like came to find me and like opened my door, and it was the worst. Yeah, John Lucas came and like opened the door, and he was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Here." It was horrible. It was horrible.
You're like in bed asleep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like,
Maria, do you have favorite memories of CLOC?
Something we've learned is Gillian has a steel trap brain. She remembers everything.
Everything.
From our year.
Receipts.
She's reminded me of a lot of things that I've conveniently forgotten about from that year. That year for me, I have so many I feel like I had a really big personal growth through, my first week showing up, having to like have everything underlined and prepared and ready. And then the final show, like I was so intense when I showed up. And then the final show, like it was fun kind of learning to release and like learning to like go drink a bottle of wine on the beach. I think some of my best memories are definitely, I used to go for walks on the beach in the morning before rehearsals by myself. And then we would all always end up at the beach. Gillian and I developed a real affinity for barefoot, bubbly Moscato.
Oh yeah.
If I remember specifically.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
when you asked me, I couldn't remember things that I drank, but I
Moscato,
drank a lot
barefoot,
of that.
bubbly. So yeah, like the friendships that we made, and also coming from an opera. Hold on. Can you hear my dad in the background? I'm just gonna let him. Oh, okay, thanks, Dad. My dad's taking a photo of us because he's been so happy to have us here this weekend.
I love it.
So sorry if you have to edit this part out. Okay, Dad.
I'm
we're
not
doing
editing
an interview.
anything out.
Yeah. Okay. He's still like, okay. I'm like, this is my time.
I'm not type A anymore. Shut
I'm
up.
not type A anymore. He's still in control always. So yeah, the friendships, and also coming from an opera degree, all of a sudden being with all these people that loved musical theater and just like feeling seen. I didn't think I knew what feeling seen meant back there, but like that's what CLOC really gives you. So I think that was, just that memory of just having these friendships that we've kept. And also I think from a show, getting to getting to be Mabel in the opening show of Pirates, I think was really special. And you were the director, so getting to work with you and being kind of scared of you in the beginning, and then, like
Oh.
I'm not scary at all.
And
No,
then being on stage with you on the 20th century
Yeah.
when you had to go on for Andrew, it was a big. It's like you kind of learn how to like be all different things with all different people. I feel like.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Totally.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was quite a year.
That was quite a year.
That was quite a year.
Lift up your head, wash off that mascara. Here, take my Kleenex, wipe that lipstick away. Show me your face, clear as the morning. I know times were bad, but now they're okay. Suddenly, Seymour
So you are, correct me, you're all in normal times. You're all in the city now, right? Can we talk a little bit about where you all are now, career-wise, and how that's working and how you put things together? COVID notwithstanding, but how are things going? Maria, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Yeah, I've been really lucky. I mean, listen, I've done every side job in the city humanly known to man. I've sold juice cleanses, worked at a pizzeria, worked at a yoga studio. I've done all of that, side hustle stuff, but I've been really fortunate that I've gotten to continue working professionally as a musical theater singer. I say that I get paid to sing the high notes because for the most part, my soprano descant training at CLOC has definitely translated into my career. So yeah, I've been really fortunate to do the national tours of, I did the international tour of West Side Story, where Mark got to come see me in Paris and I got to go visit Mark in Germany, talking about continuing friendships, which is so cool. And then I've done several national tours. I was briefly in Cats on Broadway. So I've been super lucky singing high notes, for 10 years. We'll see how that evolves after COVID, but yeah.
Can you remind people about your descant season at CLOC?
My season of descants. Well, at CLOC, obviously, I was always soprano 1, and it became kind of a theme that the first couple of shows, there was always a descant that I got assigned to sing. And then it just kind of became this running joke, like throughout CLOC, that if there wasn't a descant, like I would write one for myself, or one of the music directors would write one for me. Like Andy Einhorn directed us in Call Me Madam, and like he wrote this crazy ocarina descant for me that was like not in the score. And since then, it's kind of been this running joke. So I got to fulfill my like best descant dreams in our version of Into the Unknown today. But yeah, so I really flexed those high note muscles at CLOC, and I've definitely been flexing them ever since.
Oh, I've always loved the idea of summer and the sun and all things hot.
Really? I'm guessing you don't have much experience with heat.
Nope. But I always wonder what it'd be like if summer did come. Bees'll buzz, kids'll blow dandelion fuzz, and I'll be doing whatever snow does in summer. A drink in my hand, my snow up against the burning sand, probably getting gorgeously tanned in summer. I'll finally see a summer breeze blow away a winter storm, and find out what happens to solid water when it gets warm. Oh, I can't wait to see what my buddies all think of me. Just imagine how much cooler I'll be in summer. Ba-da-da-do, ba-da-ba-da-da-do. The hot and the cold are both so intense. Put them together, it just makes sense. Winter's a good time to stay in and cuddle, so put me in summer and I'll be a happy snowman. When life gets rough, I like to hold on to my dreams of relaxing in the summer sun, just letting off steam. Oh, the sky will be blue, and you guys will be there too, when I finally do what frozen things do in summer.
Are you here to distract me so I make a big mistake? Or are you someone out there who's a little bit like me, who knows deep down I'm not where I'm meant to be? Every day's a little harder as I feel my powers grow. Don't you know there's part of me that longs to go into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown. Are you out there? Do you know me? Can you feel me? Can you show Where are you going? Don't leave me alone. How can I follow you into the
Stop laughing.
That's awesome. Gillian, what have you been up to? How is life? And
You know, it's a lot of currently digital work, but before that, you know, just hustling and like doing whatever cool jobs kind of come up, and it just depends. Like I've done a bunch of different things, like concert work and a couple TV gigs and musicals and new musicals, which I think is probably my favorite thing to work on, and do, you know, work sessions and read-throughs. And actually some of the stuff that's coming up next for me here is recording demos for people who are trying to keep all their new projects going through kind of the lull in work for everybody, which is really fun. And yeah, I mean, I've also been liking taking a time to explore some of the other things I like to do, and baking and stitching and crafting and even just cooking, because cooking in New York is really hard, especially in the summer when you don't have air conditioning in your kitchen. But you know, it's we're kind of just trucking along and truly going into the unknown at this point.
Good job.
nice, well done.
So I've become one of those sourdough people. I started my own starter after there was a yeast shortage due to everyone deciding that the best way to spend their time was to bake bread. So I got into it, and suddenly I was baking every day, everything. I made a babka. I made a Bakewell tart, you know, from Great British Bake Off. I've made pretty much more than I've ever made in my life in a 4-month span. And now I just can't stop, and it's become something of an obsession. Make it work, make it easy, make it clever, craft it into pieces, make it sweet, crimp the edges, make it sour and serve with lemon wedges. Even doubt can be delicious, and it washes off of all the dirty dishes. When it's done, I can smile. It's on someone else's plate for a while. I'll place it on display, and then I'll watch and serve my worries away. I can
Matt, how's New York life treating you, career life, and all that good stuff?
Well, like the rest of us, we're kind of just taking it a day at a time. I guess I spent the first part of COVID on my family farm in Virginia, and I returned to New York, and I've been keeping busy doing like small like renovation projects around my apartment and redoing sheetrock and changing light fixtures, and
She's butch.
we'll cut that. But let's just keep it rolling. So no, I think every day we just focus on mental health and knowing that I guess like the rest of us, we thrive in various kinds of projects. Doing workshops and concert versions of shows, and I did a lot of private coaching. I used to be on faculty at university, and so I think CLOC really prepares you to kind of drop into any project and be flexible and just deliver what the project needs. And so I love my work in New York because I was doing like contemporary operas and working with an operetta company, but in addition, like playing auditions for upcoming Broadway shows. So I think that variety, that musical variety, really kind of fed my creative soul. And I think that's what I miss the most right now, like all of us, but we're just doing the digital content and making it work.
I think Matthew too, out of any of us, you've really walked both lines of opera and musical theater.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have feet solidly planted in both of those worlds, where I think for us, we're leading more in the musical theater world now, which is really cool to see you like do an opera or, in Fort Worth one day and then like be doing a new musical the next day.
What's crazy is, sometimes projects fall in your lap and you just have to figure it out. So I got a contract offer to be the repertoire for Barbara Seville, and they're like, oh, you're also going to play harpsichord continuo for the entire opera. And this is at, a 4,000 seat house. And I've never really been trained as a harpsichordist. So somehow during the course of that contract, I had to learn how to be a continuo player for these world famous opera stars. And you know what? Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. You learn that at CLOC, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. You have to start somewhere. Kyle, what have you been up to?
I was performing and doing the hustle, and then randomly one day, the first thing that happened to me was I was auditioning for something and I saw that there was an audition happening across the hall. So I walked in and read a script for Diamonds, and I ended up going the next day to Miami to train to be a diamond lecturer on cruise ships. So I left. My parents had no idea. No one knew. Everyone thought I was singing on the cruise ship. I left for 2 years and sold diamonds and watches and had a show for 24/7 on the ship that was just me talking about diamonds and then taking them on diamond tours. And we did diamonds for breakfast parties, and it was amazing. I loved it. After 2 years, I was kind of like, I need to go.
He came back with a British accent.
And then I came back.
And a bag of diamonds.
And a bag of diamonds. With a British accent and
with a British accent and ex-man boyfriend and a bag of diamonds. I did have one blue diamond, but I lost it at a party. I know, it was a mistake. And then I came back and did a show, and Matthew helped me with that. And then I ended up going into personal organizing. And then through that, now I run a musician's homes here and abroad, and they've brought me all over the world, and it's been amazing. And they're also so supportive. So I've had time, Gillian and I were at the O'Neill last summer doing some cabaret. So that job has allowed me to be flexible and perform and have a great job and stability. So it's been really
excellent. So you've really been able to piece that together. And
yes, it's been really nice. And I still have my job in COVID, which I feel really blessed for right now.
Yeah.
Being mostly having theater friends.
Exactly.
On a tree by a river, a little tomtit sang willow, tit willow, tit willow. And I said to him, Dickie bird, why do you sit singing willow, tit willow, tit willow? Is it weakness of intellect, birdie, I cried, or a rather tough worm in your little inside? With a shake of his poor little head, he replied, oh, willow, tit willow, tit willow. He slapped at his chest as he sat on that bough, singing willow, tit willow, tit willow. as a cold perspiration bespangled his brow. Oh, willow, titterwillow, titterwillow. He sobbed and he sighed, and a gurgle he gave as he plunged himself into a billowy wave. And an echo arose from the suicide's grave. Now I feel just as sure as I'm sure that my name isn't Willow, Titterwillow, Titterwillow. 'Twas blighted affection that made him exclaim, oh, Willow, Titterwillow, Titterwillow. Now if you remain callous and obdurate, I shall perish as he did, and you will know why. Though I probably shall not exclaim as I die, oh, Willow, Titterwillow, Titterwillow.
I want to ask you all, is there a favorite project that you've worked on that you look at and you say, this is something that I've done that I'm most proud of? Matt, do you want to kick us off?
Not prepared for this question. I look back and, you know, I love any project I'm working on. That's a cop-out answer. I remember doing a production of Light in the Piazza in a barn in upstate New York, and I reorchestrated the whole show we couldn't afford an orchestra pit, so I had 2 grand pianos and a harp, and it was just, that particular show was a score that I adored, and it was one of those projects that the cast just really bonded together to tell that story, and I think we did a really beautiful job. And while it wasn't a high-profile piece that was covered by the Times, it was literally in a barn without microphones. It was just one of those like magical theater moments where we told the story, we sang the score, and it was beautiful.
No, that's great. Gillian, is there something that you think back and say, wow, I'm really proud of that?
Last fall, I worked on a concert called Women Warriors, The Voices of Change, that I kind of ended up in just really happenstance through a friend. And I had no idea what I was getting into, and I learned this pretty song, and of course to me I was like, great, I'm just gonna get up. And then of course, you know, add on, it was at Lincoln Center, which like as a performer is kind of like a mecca dream.
With the full symphony.
Yeah, with the full symphony orchestra of like the best contracted players in New York. So I was like, great, amazing. And I went and I did the rehearsal, and I was like crying inside because it was amazing. And then I got to the concert not really knowing anything at all, and it's an entire concert dedicated to the different struggles that women around the world have faced, all scored. It's a silent documentary scored by female film composers. And I got to sit and watch the first half, and it was almost a mistake because we were all sitting there just crying. I mean, it was so incredible. And then I was the last person on the concert, like closing out the show with this beautiful song called We Rise. And it was one of those moments where you're just like, this isn't real. Like I actually felt like I was just like singing and it was a dream and I was going to wake up. And then, you know, we went in and we've recorded it, which it's going to get released as an album, hopefully next year. I don't actually know the timeline, but it's such an important, it was like the combination of everything you want, where like you get paid, you get to tell an amazing story, and you get to like feel creatively fulfilled, like all at the same time, which it's really hard to get all those things together. So that was very lengthy, but that
it's great.
was what it was pretty amazing. So
awesome. Kyle, is something that sticks out for you?
Yeah, my voice teacher, who I loved and was very close with, passed away recently, and her and she had got a whole orchestra together in Connecticut, and we did this huge Gilbert and Sullivan thing. She was a big NIGASP girl, and we sat and I spent days with her, and she told me all her stories and put this whole concert together. And I think about it all the time and how special that was. And I wish I could just go back for a day and sit and spend that time programming and performing that with her, because it meant so much and it was so special.
Great. Maria, something that sticks out for you?
Man, it's hard to choose. I will say recently, off of the voice teacher thing, so I went to school at Rice University in Houston, And in 2019, I did the national tour of Cats, and I understudied Grisabella, who is like the famous belter role. So for me to kind of step into that role was a real challenge and a lot of like examining what I thought I could and couldn't do and like getting over it. So I could sing and belt one of the most famous songs ever for belters. And in Houston, when the tour went back, all of these weird things happened that I ended up having to be on for Grisabella for 4 shows of the 8 shows that we were there. And my parents ended up coming down. They surprised me and flew my fiance in, and my voice teacher, my operatic voice teacher, and my opera director, who is in the international production of Cats, the original international production of Cats in Germany, all got to sit in the audience in the 4th row and watch me. And that was a very out-of-body experience of also the hobbies. The opera house in Houston is like unbelievably beautiful, and to have this like quiet moment of singing the beginning of Memory, and having all these people that have supported me through my 10-year career, and belting was just really wild. Belting for my classical opera teacher was really interesting, really scary, but really cool. So I think as of late, that's definitely one of the coolest kind of out-of-body moments of like gratitude with performing that I've had.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Marie and I have been friends since we were 16. We met in a summer program where we were singing opera, and then we both went to CLOC different years. Through all the ups and downs of our lives, we always have had each other to meet in the park or take a walk, and during quarantine, we weren't able to see each other for so long, and it makes you stop and realize how important friendships are. I'm sure of here and now and us together. All I'll ever be, I owe you. If there's anything to be, being sure enough of you makes me sure enough of me. Thanks for everything we did, everything that's past, everything that's over too fast. None of it was wasted, all of it will last. Everything that's here and now and us together, it was marvelous to really through. Crazy business, this life we live in. Can't complain about the time we're given. With so little to be sure of in this world, we had a moment, a marvelous moment.
A marvelous moment, a beautiful time. I need you more than I can say. I need you more than just today. I guess I need you more than you need me.
Well, we can't not talk about COVID since we're all sitting here in this situation. So I want you to tell us a little bit about what you've been keeping busy with. Maria, I hear you've been doing a lot with plants. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I'm a crazy plant lady, and
That is an accurate
so
statement.
it's interesting. My passion for plants and my passion for music have had like a really interesting kind of movement like that. I was a plant killer for like my adult life, and then when I moved in with my now fiance, I was in Cats on Broadway, and I finally had some expendable income, and I was ready to nest with him. We had this like balcony, so I had like a little balcony garden, and I fell in love with it and was like, okay, I'll try to not kill some houseplants again. They thrived. All of a sudden I was like, okay, I'll try to not kill some more houseplants. They thrived. And then all of a sudden I was sitting in our 500 square foot apartment with like 100 plants, like 100 houseplants. So like I went a little crazy, a little extra. And so I launched a podcast about plant care called Bloom and Grow Radio. And it's a tribute to the line Bloom and Grow Forever in Edelweiss. And I got to write the theme song and sing it in, my little jingle I sing. And, I'm developing a concert of plant-related music. So it's been really interesting to kind of like see the singing feed the podcast. And the podcast has been a really interesting manifestation of like, kind of what my dreams for like being a star would be one day. Like, it's interesting. Like, I've never gotten fan mail as a performer, but like I get letters from my listeners like all over the world, which is kind of cool. So it's been a really wild ride. And yeah, just published 100 episodes. So I've been spending a lot of time with my plants lately.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Clusters of crocus, purple and gold, blankets of pansies up from the cold, lilies and iris
Gillian, what have you been up to? You said you were able to get back into the kitchen a bit in quarantine.
Yeah, definitely been cooking. Definitely been baking and kind of just like realizing how much I like being outside and like getting to like go for actual walks because I've been in New Jersey the whole time, and it's just been like a pretty clarifying experience overall, I think, for everybody. But you know, and just doing things here and there, but kind of just having to like sit as a person is very weird because I'm so used to running to a job, running to an audition, running to a performance, and you don't really have time to just like exist quietly. And I mean, very fortunate to be able to do that because there's so many people that have not been able to do that. And like kind of wait with bated breath every day to like see what is going to happen. But yeah, I've been, you know, my small side hustles of embroidering t-shirts and baby onesies and making different cross stitch projects. And I need to put one together for you, which we've talked about twice.
That's right. You owe me a cross stitch.
I owe you one. It may be an embroidery because it may be easier, but we'll see. Yeah. So, you know, I kind of like being more of a homesteader and like making cheese. I got a cheese making kit and I made some cheese and like that kind of thing. So
How call me madam of you.
I know. Babies and cheese are our main industries.
That's good.
Oh, I can cook too, on top of the rest. My seafood's the best in town. And I can cook too, my fish can't be beat. My sugar's the sweetest around. I'm a man's ideal of a perfect meal, right down to the dirty tax. I'm a pot of joy for a hungry boy. Baby, I'm cooking with gas. I'm gonna drop a sweet lollipop, a brook trout right out of the brook. And what's more, baby, I can cook. Some girls make magazine covers. Some girls keep house on a dime. Some girls make wonderful lovers. But what a lucky find I'd make a magazine cover. I do keep house on a dime. I am a wonderful lover. I should be paid overtime, 'cause I can bake too, on top of the lot. My oven's the hottest you'll find. Yes, I can roast too, my chickens just ooze. My gravy will lose your mind. I'm a brand new note on a table d'hote, but just try me a la carte. With a single course, you could choke a horse. Baby, you won't know where to start. I'm an hors d'oeuvre, a jelly preserve, not in the recipe book. And what's more, baby, I can cook. Some girls make wonderful drivers. Some girls can hit a high C. Some girls make good taxi drivers. But what a genius is me. I make a wonderful driver. I even hit a high C. I am the best taxi driver. I rate a big Navy E, 'cause I can fry too, on top of the heap. My Crisco's as deep as a pool. Oh, I can broil too, my ribs will pause. My lamb chops will cause you to drool.
Matt, what have you been keeping busy with? I know you were at your family's farm, right?
Yeah, I think last time I saw you, I was like working on the farm.
Yeah.
But, that was an interesting phase. I'm back in the city now, and I guess I have not been making sourdoughs, but I do love a good carb. I think for me, I was able to do a lot of hiking when I was home in Virginia on the Appalachian Trail. So now that I have a car in the city, I've been able to go upstate New York a lot and do a lot of hiking, which has been, I think, my way of kind of hitting the reset button and like just maintaining sanity and also getting exercise in. And like, I think, not having such a rigorous schedule, usually we thrive going gig to gig. I guess like really simple things, I've been able to explore my neighborhood again. Like, even though I've lived in New York 8 years, the amount of time I've actually spent in my apartment, in my neighborhood is so limited. I was like, you just try to rediscover things you never knew was right around you. So I think that's been like a really good thing. And just, taking a day at a time.
Yeah, that's great. Kyle, what have you been keeping busy with in quarantine?
I think I'm one of those people that desperately needed to find someone because I was like, this is going to be boring. So I went on Tinder and met a guy that lived in Fire Island and went there for our first date and stayed for a week. And we've been together ever since, and he's wonderful. So I really focused on finding love.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Fire
What an
Island.
answer.
What a
I was
great.
spending COVID.
Quarantine success
Kyle on
story.
COVID, quarantine, love in the time of Corona.
Kyle
And I'm
wins
reading the
COVID.
Outlander books. They're so good.
Oh, great.
And they're very long, so it really fills the time.
That's great. Well, it's been so wonderful to chat with all four of you, and thank you so much for sharing music with us and being on this episode of CLOC-Tails. I'm going to end with a question I'm asking everyone, and maybe we can just go around the room. We'll start with Kyle, and then we'll go Matt, Gillian, and Maria.
Forget your trouble. Happy days. Come on, get happy. Are here again. You gotta chase all your cares away. Are clear again. Shout hallelujah. So let's sing a song and just get happy. Cheer again. Get ready. Happy days. Judgment again. The sun is shining. Come together. Come on, get happy. Shout it now this way. Take your hand. Who can doubt? Shout hallelujah. So let's stand and just get happy. Shout it now. You're going to the promised land. We're heading across the river. Soon our cares will all be gone. There'll be no more from now on. From now on. Forget your troubles. Come on, get happy. You gotta chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah. And just get happy. Happy time, happy nights, happy days are here again.
If you had one piece of advice, Kyle, for your 20-year-old self, what would that be?
I would say don't take yourself too seriously and just enjoy it because you can't come back. And all those memories, all those times I had were so wonderful, and I wish I just enjoyed them more.
I think along those lines, think less, enjoy more. Quit overanalyzing, quit questioning, turn off the voices and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Gillian?
That's good advice for my 30-year-old self.
Gillian's like, oh, good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically just do the scary thing, like do the thing that you're really questioning, because it's probably the thing that you're drawn towards, and that's why you're really thinking about it, like just take the leap, move to that place, like take that job that sounds like you might not, just like do it, and then it'll all kind of work itself out.
Yeah. Maria?
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, definitely don't plan so much, but I think my impossible for me.
There was a lot of planning people should know for this little interview, Maria was very type A and there were a lot of emails about it. So
listen, someone had to wrangle this group. Someone had to make the container for us to sit in. But we all wrangled things in our own way. We all contributed. But I think what I would say is in the beginning, in my early 20s in the industry, I really gave like all my power away to other people. So I let people in the business tell me how I was supposed to look, how I was supposed to sing. I wasn't supposed to sing this certain way. I was supposed to sing this certain way. I was supposed to lose this amount of weight. I was supposed to do my makeup this way. This was the music I was supposed to sing. And I just like completely did whatever anybody told me to, because I'm a great type A student. And I think like only a few years ago, I started like actually questioning myself and turning to myself instead of turning to others, asking myself how I want to show up, what I want to do, what I want to wear, what I want to sing. And it's been a really transformative process. And I wish I started earlier with it. So definitely don't give your power away so easily.
Well, I think that's a wonderful note to end on. That was great. Thank you all so much for being here today.
It was
Thank
so
you.
fun. Thanks for having us.
We hope you enjoy our show, our crazy show we put together for you. So Matthew and I were both fortunate enough to tour in the recent national tour of Sound of Music. And we have performed this song so many times, really too many times to count. But after 2020 and all that has happened because of the coronavirus, I am looking at the song and the message in a new light. Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give. Every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream. A dream that will need all the love you can give. Every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your
CLOC-Tails is part of our larger series, Digital Clock. Digital Clock is made possible by a generous gift from Phil and Liz Gross. If you'd like to learn more about our programming or how you could become a supporter, please visit us at collegelightoperacompany.com. Tune in again next week for another episode of CLOC-Tails.